to a nightmare factory. Because that's exactly what happened with Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Outrage. But before we get started, I want to know, which 90s cartoon episodes do you think were way too far for kids? Drop it in the comments, and I might just feature your answer in the next video. Let's get into it. Imagine Captain Planet, but evil, toxic, decaying, with glowing evil eyes and green ooze seeping out of his face. That's Captain Pollution, a villain so unsettling he looked like he crawled out of a horror movie. This two-part saga, Mission to Save Earth Part 1 and 2, aired in Season 3, and it wasn't just shocking for its visuals, it was the origin story of one of the creepiest characters in 90s animation. Here's how it all went down. The eco-villains, Dr. Blight, Verminous Scum, Loot and Plunder, and Duke Nukem get sick of losing to Captain Planet.
For a change, we all agree. Captain Planet and the Planeteers must be stopped. And my latest secret invention should do the trick.
So Dr. Blight created her own version of the Planeteers, the eco-villains rings, forged from pollution itself. We're talking toxics, smog, deforestation, radiation, and hate instead of the usual earth, fire, wind, water, and heart. Once they combine these anti-rings, what do they summon? That's right, Captain Pollution. But this isn't just a color swap. He's not blue with a green mullet. He's pale yellow, cracked, mutated, and radiating filth. His voice is warped and mocking. His movements twitchy and sinister. He's a mirror image of Captain Planet in the worst possible way. What makes this episode even more disturbing is how fast Captain Pollution spreads destruction. He doesn't just beat Captain Planet in battle, he turns the entire Earth into a wasteland in a matter of minutes. Animals die, oceans boil, forests vanish, and the Planeteers are helpless. This actually happened on the children's cartoon. It was terrifying. For a kid watching this in 1992, it felt like the end of the world.
Finish them off, Captain Pollution!
Say goodbye to the planet!
Eventually, Captain Planet recovers, defeats his evil twin, and hurls him into the core of the Earth, where he supposedly disintegrates. He actually reappears in later episodes, A Mind is a Terrible Thing to Waste Part 1 and 2. But let's be real, the image of Captain Pollution melting into the ground while screaming haunted a generation. But if you thought Captain Pollution was scary, wait until you hear how this show tackled one of the most controversial health issues in human history, and did it in prime time. If you thought Captain Pollution was intense, wait until Captain Planet tackled a real-world issue so controversial, it made some TV networks nervous to even air it. The episode is called A Formula for Hate, and it holds a place in animation history as the first ever cartoon episode to explicitly address HIV and AIDS. Let that sink in for a moment. In a time when most adults were too scared, ashamed, or simply ignorant to talk about the AIDS epidemic, Captain Planet gave the topic a full 22-minute storyline on children's television. The episode introduces us to Todd Andrews, and what's wild is that this was all scientifically false, but incredibly common at the time. The writers weren't just telling a story, they were educating. At one point, the Planeteers are forced to step in and hold a town hall meeting. They literally break down how HIV is not spread by casual contact.
Give them the facts, coach.
You can't get AIDS from casual contact. Hugging, touching, they're okay.
They bring in a doctor, they show diagrams. They use the platform of a kid's cartoon to debunk deadly myths. But here's the twist. The real villain of the episode isn't scum, it's fear. Fear of what we don't understand. Fear of each other. There's a chilling moment where Scum, still in his DJ disguise, says, "People don't want facts. They want someone to blame." That line hit hard in the 90s, and it hits even harder now. The episode ends with the Planeteers unmasking Scum on air and reclaiming the narrative. But not before the damage is done. Todd stands strong, but visibly shaken, he says, "I have HIV, but I'm still me, and I'm not going anywhere." The screen fades to black, and then we get something truly rare, a direct message from the characters to you, the viewer. HIV is not a punishment, it's a disease, and people living with it deserve compassion, not hate. This wasn't just brave for the time, it was revolutionary. And here's a fact that will blow your mind. The episode was co-written with help from Elizabeth Taylor's Aid Foundation and was praised by the US Surgeon General. But many local TV stations refused to air it. They deemed it too mature or too political. So for years, kids in certain areas never saw this episode at all. Today it lives on as a cult classic among educators and HIV awareness advocates. Now, if that wasn't intense enough for you, imagine this same cartoon suddenly shifting into gang warfare, guns, and street justice. Because the next episode, it's raw, it's real, and it might just be the most adult episode in the series. If Captain Planet was supposed to be a feel-good cartoon about recycling and planting trees, someone forgot to tell the writers of this next episode. Teers in the Hood took everything we thought we knew about the show and dropped it smack in the middle of the inner city. And what we got wasn't just a message about community. It was gritty, emotional, and honestly, a terrifying look at what happens when systems fail the people they're supposed to protect. The story starts with Kwame, the Earth Planeteer, returning to his old neighborhood in Chicago. But things have changed. His once vibrant block is now run down, scarred by poverty, drugs, and gangs. Stores are boarded up, police are nowhere to be found, and hope left a long time ago. Kwame reconnects with his childhood best friend Jeff. I wanted, man. This ain't who I wanted to be. That moment right there, that wasn't the real hero moment. Not Captain Planet saving the day, but Jeff choosing to walk away. The episode ends with a mural of Marcus painted on the wall. A community center gets funded. The Planeteers leave, but they don't pretend it's all fixed. Kwame looks at the neighborhood and says, "The power is yours." But sometimes, you've got to fight for it every single day. The episode might be the most grounded, raw, and human story Captain Planet ever told. And guess what? It sparked a debate. Parents flooded message boards saying, "This isn't a cartoon, it's a crime drama." Others praised it, saying it taught their kids more about real life in 20 minutes than school ever could. So now the question isn't just, was Captain Planet shocking? Was it ahead of its time? Looking back, you have to wonder, did Captain Planet go too far? Or did it go exactly where it needed to? Because while most cartoons were focused on slapstick and cereal sales, Captain Planet tried to change the world, even if it meant traumatizing some kids along the way.
That's why it's so important to burn less of those fuels that pollute the atmosphere and make Earth hotter.
Can people stop this?
We must. The power is yours.
From toxic clones and HIV awareness to gang shootings in the hood, this show didn't pull punches. And that's exactly why it's remembered. So what do you think? Which one of these episodes shocked you the most? Was it Captain Pollution's eerie debut, the raw honesty of A Formula to Hate, or the gritty realizing of Teers in the Hood? Leave a comment below. I read every single one. If you grew up watching cartoons like Captain Planet, X-Men, or the Real Ghostbusters, and you love hearing the dark, weird, or controversial stories behind them, hit that subscribe button right now and join the Backstage Tales crew. New videos drop every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and trust me, we're just getting started. And hey, if you want to support the channel, give this video a like, share it with a nostalgic friend, and check out the next video suggested right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, the power is yours.